Hi, Nathan Ritter from cardiacage.com. I'm talking about ascending aortic dissection and enlargement today. Recently, Senator Lindsey Graham passed from this condition. He had aortic dissection, and it was sudden and terrible. My condolences to his family and his co-workers and friends. So, ascending aortic dissection is quite uncommon. About 4,000 people die from it each year in the country, and that's about 1/100th as many as die from coronary artery disease, which is in the 300,000 to 400,000 range. So it's relatively uncommon, but it is quite lethal. If a person has ascending aortic dissection, then they have something like a 50% chance of death with that, and you simply have to have surgery to survive that condition. Because Lindsey Graham had chest pains, that implies the top of his aorta was affected. This is, if you could remove somebody's chest, this chest wall, this is what it would look like. Here's the heart, and then here's the aorta coming out of the heart, right here. This is in the model, so this is the ascending aorta. It's the part that's going up. I'm gonna put a picture in. I read a CT scan yesterday. This is what it looked like. You can see the ascending aorta. It's the tube-like portion that looks like a garden hose. The aortic root is the very bottom part of the aorta, and it kind of bulges out. And basically, they're treated the same. If you have an aortic root dissection or ascending aortic dissection, those are treated the same, and the same size parameters are applied to both of these parts of the aorta. So that's a terminology thing. This is the aortic root, and then this part is the ascending aorta. So Senator Graham very likely had involvement of this portion of his aorta. Not surprisingly, I've been getting a lot of questions about this over the past week. I have many patients with mildly dilated ascending aortas, moderately dilated aortas, even severely enlarged aortas. So basically, all of them are asking, should we go ahead with an operation now? Something to keep in mind is that if a person has an enlarged aorta and you want to fix it, the cutoff for that's usually around 5.5 centimeters, unless the person has a family history of aortic dissection, which is a critical point, or if they have Marfan's syndrome or Loeys-Dietz syndrome. Those two kind of scenarios where there's a genetic disease with a predisposition to rupture or dissection, or if there's a family history. You may remember John Ritter, wonderful actor. He died at the age of 54. He had a family history of ascending aortic dissection. Tex Ritter died from that. So that was demonstrated. And Flo Hyman, she was a volleyball player, an Olympic volleyball player. She died, oh God, it was a long time ago. I think it was the 80s. But she had Marfan syndrome. So if either of those two situations exist, then we have to be more careful. But for the general population, the cutoff for surgery is 5.5 centimeters. And in some instances, you might go as low as 4.5 centimeters. The surgery itself is no cakewalk, which is why you don't just say, oh, well, let's just take care of it. It's 4.5 centimeters. Why wait until it gets bigger? The surgery has a 2% mortality to it, which is a lot. And then overall, there's a 5% chance of stroke, heart attack, or death. So really, 1 in 20 aortic surgeries, ascending aortic surgeries don't go well. And that's a really high percentage. So we don't jump to get this fixed. So this week, everybody with any ascending aortic diagnosis in their chart asked me, what we should be doing about it, basically. So it's worth going through the grades of severity and considering those because that's how we approach it. So if a person has a mildly dilated aortic root or ascending aorta, the same size parameters applied to both. That would be 4.0 centimeters to 4.4 centimeters. That's the mild range. That doesn't really require much of a change in a person's lifestyle or management or choices, medication-wise or whatever. I mean, you want to manage your blood pressure like you would in any instance. And then in terms of exercise, you're not really restricted in a specific way. I do ask pretty much all of my patients to not strain super hard with maximum force against a heavy object, something that just barely moves. So, like, I don't want anybody lifting the couch up the stairs. Leave that for the movers, and the guys who are, 30 and 20, 30, 40 years old, because that very heavy straining causes super high blood pressure. I think the world record's 450 millimeters of mercury measured pressure, and that would be during a maximal lift. Normal people, that was a weightlifter, normal people don't incur those types of pressures, but you get up to 300, definitely, if you're straining. So that really high pressure isn't a good scenario for the aorta, needless to say. Anyway, so in the mild range, I ask people not to do that. I ask everybody to not do that, and we manage pressure. When the aorta is discovered to be enlarged at that level, then I'll recheck it in a year. And if it's about the same, then I might check it every few years. The size can be measured by echocardiogram, CT scan, or MRI. All of those are good ways to measure the ascending aorta. The most accurate way is probably CT scan, which involves getting the contrast, and the image I showed earlier is CT with contrast of the aortic root and ascending aorta.
This is an example of a moderately dilated ascending aorta. Here's the aortic root part here. It bulges out. This is the main pumping chamber of the heart, the left ventricle. This is the ascending aorta here, up to this point. And then it becomes the aortic arch as the innominate artery comes off here. Anyway, let's do a measurement on that. And that's coming in at around 46 millimeters, maybe one more there. 47 millimeters. So that's the aortic root, and then the ascending aorta, measure it perpendicular to the vessel, so it's going to be more like that, 39 millimeters. That 47's in the moderate range, the 39's in the mild range, but obviously you just take whatever's the worst thing, and that would be the moderate range. And you can see with the CT images, you just get awesome pictures of the aorta here. And here it is here, and then it's going to go down. So you can see that the size of the aorta is only really mostly enlarged at the root, and then it's mildly enlarged in the ascending aorta.
So moderately dilated aorta is by definition 4.5 to 4.9 centimeters, and that requires more monitoring. I'm going to check the size of that every year by the different ways of checking it. I'm going to want to know that it's not getting bigger. Frankly, most people who are in that range, 4.5 to 4.9 centimeters, you might guess it would go on and enlarge, and the person would need surgery, but actually it's a rare instance. I mean, it hardly ever happens. You'd think if a person was starting out at 4.8 centimeters, that it wouldn't be long. They'd be at 5.5 and they'd need an operation. But I will say that I've actually never had a patient progress from the moderate to the severe and then get an operation. I mean, I know it happens, but it's going to be a couple percent or something like that chance of needing an operation if you are starting out in that range. The recommendations are the same to avoid straining and lifting. This is where I'll give somebody a more specific restriction. Like if I have a patient, he's a construction worker, he's 43, and we just found his aorta was 4.3 centimeters. So I said, you can't really lift and move and strain. Stuff where you have to hold your breath to lift. That's when the pressure goes up higher. So I did restrict him from that, which was a total bummer. But you just shouldn't be lifting heavy stuff and straining when your aorta is in the 4.5 to 4.9 centimeter range or higher. Blood pressure management's similar. We want to do a good job, keep it around 130/80 or less, even 120/70 if you can. Beta blockers and ARBs like valsartan or losartan are commonly used in that scenario. For my patients in the severe range, and that would be 5.0 centimeters and above, those are going to be observed more carefully, more or less every 6 months. If you got somebody elderly and they're in their 80s and it's been stable for years, then you might not even check it again, but it more often be like once a year, because once a person gets up there in age, it starts to not make sense to do the surgery, because you incur all that risk up front with the surgery, and a person might be more likely to pass from something else. So anyway, in the severe range, it's every 6-month monitoring and aggressive blood pressure control, and clearly the same lifting restriction. So the take-home message from this video is more one of reassurance. When a person's in the mild to moderate range, if they don't have a family history of aortic dissection or aortic aneurysm, then the vast majority of those patients, people don't end up getting aortic dissection or aortic rupture or end up needing surgery. So for the most part, that condition gets observed, and then you do the usual things to take care of yourself. So I definitely wanted to get that message out there. Second take-home message: if there's a family history of aortic aneurysm, be it abdominal or in the chest, then you should definitely have your aorta checked, because the risk of dying from dissection is more than 5 times the chance in somebody with a family history of a problem. And then I would think in this day and age, everybody with Marfan syndrome and Loeys-Dietz syndrome would already be monitored. It goes without saying that anybody with those conditions should definitely have their aorta checked. And third message is thank you to Lindsey Graham for everything you've done for the country. Clearly, a completely dedicated public servant. His passing was really a sad loss for the USA. Thank you, Senator Graham.